Inside the Kinahan Cartel, the Godfathers of Ireland. The Kinahan Cartel is a notorious and well-known international criminal organization that engages in a wide range of illicit activities, including the employment of hitmen, the distribution of illegal substances, and of course the selling of weapons. The less than modest beginning. The Kinahan Organized Crime Group, also referred to as the Kinahan Cartel, is an important international organized crime group with Irish roots that is widely regarded as the most potent in Ireland and one of the biggest in the world. They are known to operate in countries such as Spain, the United Kingdom, and the United Arab Emirates. Christy Kinahan founded it back in the 1990s. The oldest son of his family, Daniel, runs the criminal organization on a daily basis. Various estimates place their value at up to €1 billion. During Ireland's Celtic Tiger period of tremendous economic growth in the late 1990s and early 2000s, Christy Kinahan founded the Kinahan Organized Crime Group. The late 1970s saw the initial conviction of Kinahan, a Dublin native, for forgery, handling stolen goods, burglary, grand theft auto, house invasion, and other offenses. It is claimed that the organization began as a street gang among Dublin's inner-city heroin dealers, but it swiftly spread throughout the world to become the multi-million-dollar criminal operation it is today. Do you want more information? Dive deeper into the world of the Kinahan Cartel with us and subscribe to the Crooks. Christy Kinahan held the position of the cartel boss before Daniel Kinahan took over as the new direct head of the organization. Since then, the Irish courts have reached the judgment that the group is a deadly organization engaged in transnational drugs and weapons trafficking. Christy Kinahan was educated in one of Ireland's top schools while growing up in a loving middle-class environment and received lots of love and care from his family. He made the decision to live a life of crime once he was an adult and had options. During the 1980s and the 1990s within the city of Dublin, he was a relatively low-level offender who frequently entered and exited prison for a variety of drug-related and fraud-related offenses. Where other prisoners used their time behind bars to transform their lives, Kinahan seemed to be doing the exact opposite thing. The career criminal enrolled in college classes, and by the time his final sentence was served in 2001, he could speak Dutch and Spanish with ease. The Irishman is suspected of founding a global drug cartel that is currently included in the Italian mafia and is estimated to have assets worth more than $1 billion. The cartel is supposed to have been founded around the turn of the century. The Tapper Don, as he came to be known, allegedly trained his sons, Daniel and Christy Jr., to become fellow leaders of the organization as the operations for trafficking cocaine, heroin, and firearms grew throughout South America, Europe, and the Middle East. Daniel Kinahan, who is now in his mid-40s, was the subject of an assassination attempt in 2016. This sparked a deadly feud with the island's infamous Hutch family, which led to the murder of 18 people. The majority of the killings took place in Dublin, and most of them were carried out by hitmen connected to the Kinahan gang. On April 12, 2022, the US Department of State made the following announcement. Under its Narcotics Prize program, the US Department of State will pay up to $5 million in rewards for information that led to the capture and/or conviction of Kinahan family members. It was discovered in August 2022 that Spanish-based Kinahan Cartel associates were continuing to operate multi-million-euro drug shipments despite the organization being subject to sanctions. Johnny Cash Marisi and his wife Nicola were apprehended in Marbella, Spain on September 13, 2022. In February 2023, 40 kilograms of cocaine were found during a search of a business in Dublin's Long Mile Road neighborhood. Equipment was seized, 8 people were detained, and cocaine was found. A hydraulic medicine press, €78,000 in cash, communication gear, a mixing tool, and more were all taken in addition to more than 2,000 nitric oxide containers. 2 of the people who were arrested were subsequently released. US sanctions were placed on Edin Gakanyan, a leader of organized crime in Bosnia and Herzegovina, after broken encrypted communications exposed how the Kinahan Cartel was involved in a €350 million cocaine scheme in 2023. The US justified the penalties by pointing to close ties to Daniel Kinahan. Daniel Kinahan, his father Christy Kinahan Sr. and Christy Kinahan Jr. were named by the US as the 3 key members of the Kinahan gang. The Garda seized a stash of €4 million in drug money after breaking up the most secretive criminal group in Ireland. While law enforcement was combating the Kinahan-Hutch feud, the family grew to become the biggest mafia in the country. In the last 5 years, they have transported €100 million in illegal funds out of the country. The Kinahan Cartel's criminal empire expanded discreetly as resources were devoted to its pursuit. Living in West Dublin's Ballyfermot district are the two brothers in charge of this international crime organization. In addition, there are a dozen or so ardent admirers scattered around north and west parts of Dublin's county. The gang has stayed clear of killings and other gang-related crimes that would have drawn attention from the authorities and highlighted their rivals. They mostly trafficked heroin as they expanded their business. It is assumed that the two brothers who run the group have no substantial criminal history. What the Kinahan-Hutch conflict was about may be a mystery to you. A substantial ongoing dispute between two criminal enterprises in the Republic of Ireland has resulted in 18 murders, the majority of which have been committed by the Kinahan family. The two main players are the Hutch gang, headed by Gary Hutch, and the Kinahan family, led by Daniel Kinahan. The hostility has taken the form of a large number of assaults, the bulk of which have involved shootings against the Hutch and Kinahan gang members, though there have also been some incidents of mistaken identity. The majority of the attacks have taken place in Dublin, with a small number also taking place in other regions of Ireland and a handful in Spain, including the murder of Gary Hutch, which ignited the conflict. Despite the fact that a shot was fired in 2014, it is generally accepted that the dispute began in 2015 with the murder of Gary Hutch in Marbella, Spain, and it only escalated with the attack on the Dublin hotel in February of 2016. To combat criminal gangs, primarily the Kinahan and Hutch groups, a special criminal task force was established inside the National Drugs and Organised Crime Bureau in 2016, shortly following the attack on the Regency Hotel. It was planned for the task force, which had at least 10 Garda and 3 sergeants, to disband in 2021. However, despite the fact that at least 18 people were killed in the conflict and 50 other murder attempts were prevented as a result of their success, the task force will continue to operate. The Garda have seized 456 firearms, €2.2 million in cash, and €64 million in drugs in their effort to put an end to the battle as of June 2018. The conflict, in the opinion of analysis, highlights the difficulty An Garda Síochána faces in keeping track of Irish gangs with global organizational structures. Despite the fact that the name Kinahan is synonymous with narcotics, gun smuggling, and murder for the people of Ireland, detectives have not brought the Kinahan family in to face charges, giving them the illusion of invincibility. At least they did up until recently, when the cartel came to the attention of the superpower, which was ready to give the cartel a mortal blow. The US Treasury asserted that the Irish mob has joined the ranks of the Camorra, an Italian mafia group, as it imposed sanctions on the cartel in a manner similar to how it has sanctioned Russian billionaires over the conflict in Ukraine. Maintaining discipline in Ireland's prison system has never been easy, but now that the Kinahan gang has been busted, the situation is even more terrifying now than before. The 166 inmates currently detained in jails around the country, according to prison officials, are members of the 14 separate criminal gangs. Insiders in the penal system claim that the Kinahan cartel's influence has made it impossible to state that the divisions between the different gangs still apply, since the distinctions between them have gotten so confusing. The majority of the most notorious gangland criminals in the country are detained in just 5 prisons. It is said that the current leader of the Kinahan cartel is hiding. Since a few years ago, Daniel Kinahan has called Dubai home. The mob boss's stay in the desert, however, according to some reports, is coming to an end. The United Arab Emirates imposed severe sanctions on Kinahan and the cartel's top brass, including the freezing of both corporate and personal accounts. That was all for this video. So what do you think? Subscribe if you want to see more of these videos, and do give us a thumbs up. We will see you in the next one. Goodbye.